Thanks for joining me on Love Them Knives channel. LTK here. The Vicar. Cybert design. 757, I believe. Yeah, 757 is the model. This is a knife that I've never had in my hands before, and it's... you know, a lot of the Cybert designs I really like. I like that double action one. I can't remember the name of it now, but I kind of chased that for a while, then gave up. And then that real fatty knife, and you can catch those sometimes on eBay here and there because they're gone. They're out of production. This one is one that I just never found myself all that attracted to, so I never jumped on one. But, you know, having the opportunity to have one in my hands, and I'll tell you what, let me tell you, this knife really is some smooth. Wow, that's all kinds of smooth. That is all kinds of smooth right there. S30V blade, almost a 4-inch blade, okay? This one here is the first production run knife. Like I said, Cybert design, S30V blade. This is like, this texturing here is incredible. It's like sandpaper. It really is. It's rough like sandpaper. I mean, I don't know who's grabbing who. It's grabbing me, I'm grabbing it, but that's a lot of grip. That's a lot of grip. And look at these titanium liners. Whew. Wow, I got to take a look in here. Because that's some thick titanium liners. And you know what? No. And they have not skeletonized those. Whew. This is kind of more old school. This knife's been out for a while. Blade design's interesting. I do like the blade design. I'm not sure about, you know, these just seem like these lines don't flow as nicely as I'd like them to flow. And so it's a little blocky, angular, you know, here that, I don't know, it's not the blade design that held me back from getting one of these. And I'll tell you one thing, you got thick titanium liners. Look at the lockup on here. Yeah, about 30%, 25 to 30%, but real easy to disengage this lock bar. Really easy, which makes it really nice. And that action is just, it's just like butter. It flows. This one, I don't know if that's just this individual knife, you know, if, you know, you get variances sometimes, but that is sweet. I mean, that just kicks open like nothing. You got these dual ambidextrous thumb studs that are black, you know, black hardware here. You've got a lanyard hole that goes on through, okay? Back spacer, G10. Wow, but I talk about grippy. And you know what? This knife is more impressive in the hand than you might think. This knife is very impressive in the hand. I really like it. Pocket clip, nicely shaped, doesn't take over the design. Got 2 screws there to hold it down into place. Unfortunately, you can't take it to a left-hand position. Tip up. Got this kind of little fuller that runs partway down the blade. Other than that, this looks like a kind of a brutal blade, doesn't it? It's not real like piercing, stabby looking, but it can pierce. But look at the reinforcement up here at the tip. That's some dog, isn't it? Man, stonewash, pretty rugged. Let me see if this S30V is oh yeah. Oh, that you can feel that. Yeah, that's really good. That's a good edge on that one. They did a good job putting the factory edge on that. Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, this good out of the box here. You got jimping up here. So you've got some traction here. You don't really have a go forward position here. No real choil like to speak of here, although you've got a bit of a separation here. So don't know that the thumb studs would interfere when you have like a fixed blade sharpening stone that goes across. I haven't, on my KME, I haven't hit any thumb studs yet. So I don't know. Some may protrude enough you have to take them off. I don't know about this one. Usually the angle's enough to where you miss them. Any case, dog, it's a big knife though. It's a big knife, but wow. There's not a lot of detent on this, so it's really easy to gravity flip this. Really easy. Look at that. Real easy. But, I mean, that's kind of all part of the flickability of the blade. Now, how easy would it be to kick it out? It's not very difficult to bring out. There you go. Not too tough. That's pretty weak. That's about a 4.5 on my detent scale. Now, I don't know. Let me see. Let's check. No blade play, no lock rock. And it's centered, so, yeah. I don't know. You could tighten this pivot down. Maybe. You got to take the scale off to do that. To get to the pivot. Which is not my favorite way of doing things with a knife. I know one guy. It wasn't this knife. It was one like this where the pivot was buried. And he took the scale off and he cut an opening that would expose the pivot screw so he didn't have to take the scale off anymore. Don't think I'd do that. Don't think I'd do that on this Benchmade. Yeah, I mean, I'm never really terribly afraid that I'm going to run around and in my pocket this knife's accidentally going to open. I'd have to be doing something awfully violent for that to happen, you know. But, you know, because it's tip up. So what are you doing? But, you know, it does gravity flip awful easy. So you might be able to tighten that up. Don't know. Very flickable though. Let me give you the model number on this. Just for your information and paperwork, right? The Vicar 3.86. This one's out of stock. I don't know. They may have quit making these. I don't know. I see some on eBay all the time, but I don't know. Yeah. Almost 9 inches overall. Pretty heavy blade stock, 0.16 of an inch and half or a 5-inch handle. 0.66 thickness of handle, and that's a pretty thick handle. And 6.62 ounces. Well, those thick titanium liners are not skeletonized, so that doesn't surprise me. And then you got the, you know, you got the G10, you got the black underneath the green. Tip up carry. And that's about it, folks. That's just the rest of the specs on there. Now, let's get Berth out. Do some measuring up. Yeah, that's pretty good size. You know, wow, almost 4 inches, but yeah, it's all of that. And a bag of chips, and really almost 100 millimeter blade. Not quite. I mean, depending on where you're measuring it from, you know, you could go like 97 millimeters. Not quite. Well, about 22.5 millimeters. I mean, centimeters. And not quite 9 inches, but 8 7/8 overall. How fat is that deal? Let's turn our calipers on and let's measure this. And try and get it right. 17.6 millimeters, 0.69, almost 7/10 of an inch. That'd be right. Nah, 0.65. There you go. That's better grab. Better grab. 16.6 millimeters, 0.65 of an inch. What do we got here? 0.16, like they said, of an inch. 4.2 millimeter thick blade. That's a thick blade. That's a thick blade. Almost a 9-inch knife. So how does it compare with something, the standard kind of EDC thing? Oh, it's a bigger knife than the Man X. Yeah, a lot bigger, a lot bigger. It's a big boy. Big and heavy. I don't know, I'm starting to like it better. This still kind of very angular, but the blade shape is cool. Maybe softer lines, maybe a different like stackable G10, maybe a different non-stackable G10. But, you've got, man, if you got some traction on that backspacer, check that out. Oh yeah, that's way up there. Like I said, lanyard hole, big backspacer, and, meaningful traction here. Easy to disengage this. And, you've got traction as well all along here. So, talk about grip. You want a knife with grip? This is real sandpaper grippy. It really is. And got traction here. Got traction here. Got traction here. This, reminds me a little bit of my Benchmade Contigo. Nothing other than that. All this traction around here seems so familiar that way. Other than that, I like the Contigo better, but, hey, that's just me. Plus, the Contigo's got M390 because it's the Knife Works special. So, but this one is a little bit more old school. It's brutal, though, and quite the flicker. It's not an axis lock. It's a liner lock. Go figure, huh? Big knife, though. Big knife. A lot bigger. Look at that. Hold on. Where's my grip? I don't want to lose grip. Lose my grip. Here we go. So, look at God. Go butt to butt. Yeah. Just a big knife. Big profile on that blade. Ouch. That dog is. All that and a bag of chips. Let's get some numbers on it. Let's anchor us down. 6.5 ounces, which is 183 grams. That's a lot of stuff. Let's reweigh that. Take it off. Okay, 0 now. Yeah, wow, okay. Got me convinced. Wow. Yeah, that's some stuff. Flicks. Boy, the action on that's so nice. But then again, maybe it's too weak a detent for you. I don't know. I don't think that would be why I wouldn't buy this knife. Actually, I think that this would be the preferable way to open it, especially in an emergency or just working one-handed and you need to cut something. It sure just, and it drops back in. And, the chances this thing's gonna, I don't know. That doesn't really bother me that. But I've had guys tell me, not this particular knife, but they've had knives that opened in their pocket and all but missed stabbing them in the leg as a result. So it depends on how active and crazy you are when this thing's in your pocket, but this is a pocket full of knife. It's thick, it's heavy, it opens great, it's a lot of blade, it's a lot of knife. It's a big dog. All right, hey, thanks for joining me. I just thought, put this up on there. I know we're kind of a couple of years overdue for doing something like this, but I had the opportunity to spend some time with this knife, and I had never put one in my hand before. Never, there's so many knives to buy and so many things. You just got to start picking and choosing your purchases. I do with my budget, and so this never did come into my to my purview as far as me making a purchase on this. I like Benchmade knives overall. Got several of them. Got 3 or 4 of them in my permanent collection. So thanks for joining me. The Vicar. Yes, it is. 757. Take care. Subscribe if you'd like. Keep track. Table sales all the time coming up about at least once a month. And then giveaways once every 2 months, month and a half. Just depends. Thank you for joining me. You know what we do on this channel. Yes, we do. We love them knives. So stay sharp.